welcome to the Proper Midwife channel. We have Leah here today. She's going to be our victim, and we're going to be talking about tourniquets. This tourniquet specifically is the CAT Gen 7 tourniquet. It is a windlass tourniquet, and it's one of the tourniquets that are recommended by TCCC, which is the Tactical Combat Casualty Care. And they have spent quite a bit of time researching into how people die and the ways to prevent them from dying. So this is one of the methods that they recommend prevention of death. And one of the most common ways that somebody may die in the civilian sphere is in a car accident. And one of the more common ways of that happening is through bleeding out. So a tourniquet is a way to prevent bleeding out if one of your limbs have been injured to the point where you are bleeding at hemorrhage levels. So we are going to show how to use a tourniquet, proper method of application, and also the ways not to use a tourniquet. So, most important thing to remember when you're dealing with fluids, specifically blood, is if it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. So, gloves. So we're going to do this the proper way. I always carry a pair of gloves attached to my tourniquet in my purse, just so it's a good reminder to myself. So this tourniquet is already set up, which means that I've taken it out of the package and I've put it together properly so it's easy to deploy, which means that this tab is folded over so you can quickly grab it and open it up and close it to the needed size. So I typically keep them folded like this, so tab folded over, Velcro attached to itself, and then fold it like this with the windlass outside. And also this tab being easy to get at here. So you don't store it like this, because stored like that, you have to take this off and then get to your windlass. This way, the Velcro is covered and you can still get to your windlass easily. So, what happened to you, girl?
I fractured my limb. I got a compact fracture and I'm bleeding to death.
Okay, well, here we go. We're going to take the tourniquet and cinch it down as tight as possible, and then wrap the Velcro around like that. And then we're going to take the windlass and we are going to tighten it till she says, ouch, and or
Whoa, my fingers have gone prickly.
we can't feel her pulse. And then we take this and put it through there and put this over top, and then we write on here time that this went on, so that once she is transferred to the hospital, they know when it went on, so they know what proper care to give her when taking it off, because taking it off is as important as putting it on. If it's taken off wrong, it can cause more complications. So that said, taking it off after a long amount of time. This amount of time is not going to have caused her any harm, other than her fingers feel very prickly right now, don't they?
Yes, they do feel prickly.
Yeah. So, it's important to take good care of your tourniquets. Keep them, try to make sure that your Velcro is not getting all full of lint. And if you're going to keep it in your vehicle, like up on your visor, and you live in a hot climate, just be mindful that the Velcro and the straps will degrade over time when exposed to sunlight. So you need to switch them out every probably year or two. Or you keep it in a somewhat more contained area so that it's not directly in sunlight, and it will hold up longer. The thickness of this tourniquet is important because 1.5 inches is the minimum required to fully properly compress the veins and arteries so that it will stop the bleeding. And you'll find sometimes other very cheap tourniquets on Amazon, and the problem with them is they look like this, but they don't act like this. So it's much more common for them to break when you need them most, and you don't want to put your life or a loved one or even a random stranger's life on the line just because you were being cheap. So these are not cheap, but they are good, and it's important to have life-saving equipment that is actually going to save your life, not just something that you're going to have and once you actually need it, it will fail on you. So get a TCCC certified tourniquet and don't cheap out on it. Thanks.